Bravo is being attacked.
Yeah! Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played between Jojo, playing 6th US, and he's going up against R Chinese letters, which I put into Google Translate, and apparently his name is Leopard 2 Weasel Wholesale. So he's going up against R Leopard 2 Weasel Wholesale, playing as 119Y, which does not get Leopard 2s. We're on Chemical Duel today, so let's do the deck reviews, then we'll talk about the map and the matchup, then we'll cover the deployments, then we'll cover the game, and as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so this is the deck review for Jojo, who's playing 6th US, and his deck looks almost identical to mine. It's quite surprising, actually. Although, you know, I mean, if he watches my videos, then it makes sense. Like, this is his deck, and this is mine. It's actually really, really similar. So we'll go through it tab by tab, and we'll talk about why I made these decisions, assuming that he came to, to the same answer. So, first of all, you know, 3 cards of supply can be useful, but honestly, I don't recommend it simply because, in fact, did I bring 3 cards? I can't remember. Oh, I did. So first, hello and welcome. No. Right, so this is Jojo's deck review, right? Right, so this is Jojo's deck review for the game. And yeah, he's built it pretty similarly to mine. Like almost identically. So we'll go through it tab by tab, and we can talk about how I came to these decisions, and presumably he did it for similar reasons. So first tab, 3 cards of supply. Yeah, it's a really good idea to bring 3 cards of supply. I completely agree with that. Basically, it's you could get away with 2 on this div, to tell you the truth. You could get away with 2 because you don't have that many tanks that you got to heal up, and you don't have that many you know, that much artillery, right? So you don't actually have to heal up that many things. So you can get away with having 2, actually. And then he's got 3 Helo CVs, which honestly I completely disagree with. I think these just die so easily. You get like a good meme, but it just even if you're planting it in a back zone to like harass the enemy, haha, took your zone. It has to stay there, and the enemy will see where it lands. So if he's got anything about him, he's bombing it, or he's buying a howitzer and just howitzering it, or he's just going to mortar it until it leaves. So I really don't like these. So I prefer the car one, the Humvee, and this can be useful for like following your artillery around. Let me just check mine real quick. What did I do differently? Yeah, so I don't actually have the. I actually only run 6 CVs on this division. So I actually don't have either of these. I just have this, and there you go. You save 2 AP here, which can be useful. Then, between the CVs, you've got this guy, which is 6 men but only 2 availability. Then you've got this guy, which is 6 men and 3 availability, so it's just vastly more useful. And you've got a forward deployed one here, which is 12 men, 2 availability. So you can get some like forward deployed shenanigans, but the fact of the matter is this is really cheap. As is this actually, but it's only 3 men. It's got smoke, but it's only 3 men, so I really don't like it. They just die too easily. Whereas this doesn't have smoke. And this does have smoke. It's 6 men. But it's only 2 availability. So if you're going for this strat where you've got, you know, 3 CV cards, then you can afford to bring one that's 2 availability. But I think I prefer to run it this way and go for the one that's 3 availability. Without the smoke. I mean, smoke is really useful. It could save your life, but if you're good at smoke mortaring anyway, you shouldn't have that problem. Then 2 cards of Navy SEALs. Yes, I completely agree with this because my deck is literally identical from this point on. So so yes, I agree with this. Navy SEALs are really really good. Sadly, the M60 is like the worst LSW. It's just got worse stats for some reason, but You get 4 of them anyway in the special forces and then max vet. So it's a really, really strong squad. You want as many of them out as you can. Sadly, no grenade launcher like in Red Dragon, but they're really good. Then I also bring 2 cards of recoilless rifles at 1 vet, and this is like the machine, right? The idea is like they're not a cheap squad, but you keep your supply behind them, which is why 3 cards of supply can come in handy. In fact, yeah, I think that's why I also bring 3 cards of supply, because these guys are real chompers of supply. They eat up a lot of supply. But you can get away with 2, to tell you the truth. You can. um, so yeah, you just spam these out, and you just make sure there's always a supply behind them. You can use one of these. Just make sure you turn off the fuel thing. And you know, this is nice and cheap, and you get loads of them, so you can have it quite pushed up to the front line and not have to worry about losing it. And then they just use all these, and then they go and get some more, and then they use all these, and they go and get some more. It's just a really good way of outputting DPS onto a target. Then he's got... Oh yeah, that's why they're not at 1 vet, because they can't be. I remember now. So basically, this division doesn't get IFVs, and so your IFVs are these grenade launcher vehicles, which is why I bring 2 cards, and so does Jojo, because he's smart. People who agree with me are smart. And you just use them so you can spam out the grenade launchers. That's what it's all about. You just hear spamming out the grenade launchers, spamming out the grenade launchers. And yeah, that's your pseudo IFV. Obviously, it doesn't stand up to an IFV, but it's 25 points. And you get 17 of them. Then I also bring this squad, can you believe it? This is... It's for town fighting. You put it with the seals, basically. You put it with the recoilless rifles, and it gives you some additional, like, some pretty decent fighting power. They can go really up on the front line. They're 13 men. They got 3 machine guns. They got 10 rifles. And they're giving everybody the military police suppression removal, suppression resistance and suppression recovery. There aren't any reservists apart from this, which I bring. Obviously, he brings the other one, which isn't reserved. Not this one. I think he brought this one, or it might have been this one. I think it was this one. So that can do some. To be honest, yeah. If you've got three CV cards, then yes, you can swap this out for this one. And take the L, because for 5 points you do actually get quite a lot here. You get smoke, and you lose the reservist trait, which means you might actually hit something. So that's helpful. I've actually had it. I was against this guy, and I used this on him, and I fired 4 laws at his CV with my CV, and they all missed. And it was against him, actually, so maybe that's why he brings this one. And yeah, if you've got 3 CV cards, then you can afford to take that L, but I only run 2, and so I need the 6 availability, right? So, you know, these guys, they are really cool. You can afford to switch them out for something else, because you also bring this one, which is basically a must-bring, and... So I can't remember which. I think I bring the Peacekeeper because it is faster, and it's got more HP, and it's got a gun, and it's got more armor. And so for 5 points, I think that's a very worthwhile trade. But he brings it in the Cook VMP. Anyway, this is a really useful squad because you keep it pushed up because it's got stingers, and it's got security as well. So when it stood still, its optics go to good. And it's only 40 points for a stinger and military police, so it buffs up your guys. So you can get away with not running these guys, and perhaps potentially running something like this, simply because you like close range AT, and they've got smoke, which can be useful. So I think you can get away with not running these, but I like them. You could also bring this grenade launcher. Or you could bring, like, recoilless rifles and send them around the side or something, but, I mean, they're not that fast off-road. But they do have good stealth, and the pen's decent, so yeah, next time I play 6th, I'm going to try getting rid of these and putting in, or I suppose, yeah, even something like this. Sadly, the availability is not great, but it's just, I really struggle against tanks as this div. and a lot of that is to do with the arty tab as well, which we'll get to. So yeah, this could go, but I run it like this, so or I ran it like that. So arty tab. So this is one of the reasons Sixth is so weak, is that you need to constantly try and so I actually bring the 81mm instead of the 107 because it's cheaper, and these things just die so quickly, and you need loads of them so you can get as much smoke out as possible. It's cheaper, you get more of them, so I actually bring the 81mm. I thought it was 82 as opposed to 107. Yeah. You don't have a self-propelled howitzer, mortar or howitzer. But you don't have a self-propelled mortar on this div, whereas you do get it on ninth. And that means that you really struggle against IFVs and stuff, because usually with these infantry divisions, what you want to do is smoke so that they can't shoot you, and then run up to them and shoot them. And this is where I've been struggling with the lack of AT4s, so I might actually put this in my deck, or try this one out, because they've got smoke as well, and the DMR, which is useful. It's actually a very cost-efficient squad. This for 20 points has security, which doesn't mean much when... Yeah, although it is really fast, actually. It's actually not bad. It's a shame it's only an M60 and not a 50 cal, then it'd be proper good. But yeah, no smoke, sadly. Yeah. So you want to... That's the only way you can really deal with IFVs, is you just run up to them and blat them. And that's very difficult to do when you don't have a self-propelled mortar, because your mortars just constantly get counter-batteried, and because the way it works, the toad thing constantly bugs out, so when you try and preemptively load them up and move them, it just bugs out and it doesn't work. That happens all the time. Eugen don't seem to, I don't know, they've got a lot on the plate, I guess. And it fires 2 salvos before it moves anyway. Like, one order will fire 2 salvos, which means they're really easy to counter battery, because they don't move automatically, so unless you're really on the point and you're moving them, it's not going to work. So yeah, it's rough, and obviously this transport isn't armored, right? So you load them in the transport, they die anyway. It is rough. It is rough. So yeah, I prefer the 81mm simply because you get more of them, and so, like, if you want to hit somebody with a mortar, just use the howitzer to hurt them. This has the same problem. The toad thing doesn't work properly. I mean, it's cheap, but you only get 2 of them, and yeah, it's rough. It is really rough. Tank tab. So the Humvee tow is a tow too, and then I also bring it just exactly like this. Except these are down vetted for me. Having said that, I think he was probably right to upvet these, because you don't bring 14 of them, really. Although I have had games where I have brought 14 of them. So, yeah. But maybe I wouldn't have had to if they were upvetted, because then they're going to have slightly more accuracy and so on. But honestly, I think 60% is high enough already, and for 0.09 second aim time. And it reloads while the round's in the air. So, like, what do you need suppression resistance for? But if you're really not bringing, if you're only bringing 10, then there's no reason to not upvet it. Do you know what I mean? If you're bringing less than 10 in a game, you could also upvet 1, downvet 1, and there you go. Now you've got 12, right? That's something you can also do, and then buy all these first, because not every game, you don't need all of them every game, right? But yeah, I think he's probably right to upvet these. Because I do struggle to bring all 14. Sometimes I do, it depends on the map. This thing's garbage, don't bring it. We might as well say why. So it's 5 points more than this, right? And what do you get for your troubles? You get no smoke, you get mediocre stealth, so you get spotted, and you get 2 armor and more HP, and you're slower. But it's all about the stealth with these ATGMs, right? If they spot you, they're going to shoot you, and you're going to die. So it doesn't matter if you got... It generally doesn't matter too much how much armor you've got. 2 armor, I'll be honest, there's a lot of kinetic things that can survive that, but usually what's coming the other way is an ATGM, and 2 armor won't survive any ATGM, except like what is the base? Like, a Dragon 1 is 14, but everything else is like 16 minimum, which will one-shot 2 armor vehicle. So yeah, if it had smoke or something, it'd be good, but it doesn't. So yeah, I don't like it. Recon tab. So I also bring all of these things except so he brings the Recon A10, which is really good. You don't you can bring it out at the start, but generally at the start, especially if you're playing against pack divs, which get better air forces than NATO divs, because that's realistic, right? This tends to just die because the enemy usually has a brain and brings a lot of planes, and given that he's against 119Y, right? You don't bring it at the start. You sort of bring it in later, and you can, you use it on like an exposed flank, or you can literally just fly it over the middle and see if you survive with a bunch of bombers behind it. So this spots the AA positions which shoot at it, and it should be all right because it's got the armor, it's got the 20% ECM. As long as you take in front hits or rear hits, you take significantly reduced. Well, you take less damage. And then your bombers come in and they kill all of the AA positions. Then he's got two cards of these, which basically this is your only tank. I bring him at no vet because I feel like you need all 12 of them, but he brings it at one vet. The other thing is, another reason I bring the Peacekeeper, although you can still do it with the Cook VMP, and it's the reason this card is basically mandatory, is you click, once you've spawned these guys, whatever, unloaded them, you click on the military police transport, do Shift F and click on your tank, and it'll follow your tank around, and it'll remove the reservist trait, which is really important. And, you can also do it with these things, but it's less important than doing it for your tanks. Then he's got Alaskan Cav Scouts. Now, the advantage of these guys is you can bring them in a Huey, and they've got recoilless rifles, which means you can get recon deployment. Recon deployed helicopters drop in recoilless rifle recon at the start of the game. Can be really useful. And later into the game, you can do, like, sneak attacks. Obviously, it's not particularly sneaky, but you can surprise people. You can reinforce faster. Really, really useful to have these in a Huey. Instead, he's opted to bring them in this, which has no smoke, costs 30 points, and has 3 machine guns. I just don't think it's very good. I'd much rather be getting him in a helicopter. If this had a recoilless rifle, maybe it'd be good, but it does not. It's a downgrade, straight downgrade, so replace recoilless rifle for another M60. Just don't think it's very good, and I don't think you're lacking recon in that you need your good optics somewhere. I just don't think it's very good, so I prefer the Huey. And then you can also use the Huey to scout and stuff. I mean, mediocre optics isn't fantastic, but you literally just fly over stuff, and oh, there's a guy there, call in the artillery. Then Pathfinders. So these guys have smoke and laws and airborne forward deployment, and this is fast. Basically, the issue with the SEALs is that this truck is 90 kilometers an hour, and you might think, well, does it matter? Yeah, it does. The enemy's going to get there first if his is 100, and the bigger the map, the bigger a problem you're going to have. It's actually quite a big difference. So you need something that's coming at max speed. I also bring the LRS. This is where my 2 points go, and I bring it in the grenade launcher Humvee. And I really like this in the opener because, this is also 100, and it's got a grenade launcher, and this is ground surveillance radar squad, which I think is really useful. Sniper rifles like 2 machine guns, so it's like having 3 machine guns. Obviously, these tend not to shoot because it's 500 meters, but 3 machine guns is like 6 rifles, so you've sort of got 10 rifles, but these are submachine guns. But yeah, at close range you tend to shred as well, because this can fire in a building, this can't, and this can. So if you're in the same building as your opponent, you tend to do quite a bit as well. Your special forces and your shock, right? So I really like him, and that was the change. There was he had these CVs, right, instead of the Humvee, and he had this. So he loses smoke on his command squad, right? Instead of this, so you've got 6 CVs now instead of 7. Oh, 3, yeah. No, actually, yeah, it was 7. You got 6 CVs instead of 7, and you get LRS, which is just a really useful squad. So I prefer it this way, but it's up to you. You could say there's significant overlap here. You don't need exceptional optics, whatever. I really like having exceptional optics. You could get these guys if you want, but they're reservist, and Yeah, I don't see the point really. AA tab, so I Hawk Vad Stinger is very normal. It's exactly what I bring, except I have it this way around. Haha, big difference. So I Hawk for the planes, Vads for anti-infantry. I'm not joking. And AB Stinger for the deployment. If you choose not to do the air, I basically never do the air heavy attack or the helo rush. I might buy one of these at the start, or three sometimes. In fact, against him, I think I brought three actually. And if you want to see that game, I'll link it in the description. It was a really, really good game. It was live streamed as well, so it was like chat interaction and stuff. Um, yeah, so this is for your deployment. It's very useful. Heli tab. So I'm not sure what's changed here. In that he's got three. Oh, he's probably got fewer planes than me. No, hang on. That's a 2-point slot. Should I also bring a recon helo here? I might have done. I might have brought a recon helo here as well. Yeah, I think I did. I really like it, but you could argue that you don't really need it if you've got helos here, you've got a plane here. I really like having a recon helicopter. I think it gives you a lot of value. But yeah, you could say, well, I'd rather have two more Cobras. Between these two, the guns on this thing are terrible, and they nerfed the minigun loads. They just made it crap. And it doesn't have many rounds. Like, it runs out in a minute. Grenade launcher's alright. The main thing is that it's cheaper. It's 15 points cheaper. This gun is better, but you rarely get into a situation where you can actually use it until you bring this one, and then you're like, oh, I wish I had that gun. So yeah, he's gone for the Cobra instead of 3 recon helos. And you could argue that that's fine, but he also had this in an A-cav, which meant that he wouldn't have the helicopters here. So I would, I'd be bringing this in a Huey, so you can at least get those helicopters if you choose not to get the recon helo here. So you can get 2 more Cobras, which can die the same as the last 2 Cobras. Then the air tab is basically identical to mine as well. So this Eagle, its price came down. It's still garbage. It is worse than an SU-25. The SU-25 turns better, it's 20 points cheaper, gets better longer range missiles, get better shorter range missiles. I think it gets more missiles. I think it gets 10, whereas this gets 8. It might still be 8. And the SU-25 will win in the 1v1 because both of them rout on the first thing, unless it just kills it straight out, right? And then when they turn, the SU-25 will get missiles off and the Eagle won't. So that this is just kind of garbage, mainly because it just turns like a brick. It is faster, it's got more ECM, but the missiles are worse, and I don't like it really. But you don't have a choice. So you're trying to win air superiority with these really expensive fighters that can just die to all sorts of nonsense, or you could just get lucky, as in it should work properly, and your 40% ECM saves you a lot. But yeah, it's basically a gambling division. But yeah, you got to bring 2 cards of Eagles, and then I also bring the Prowler. This seems to have a bug where it just doesn't shoot if the enemy's too close, because it seems to have a really narrow cone of firing. So if you imagine this is the plane, and it's got like a cone. And as you advance, the cone is narrow, and so if the enemy's like down here, the cone no longer covers them, and then the enemy AA shoots you, and you just have like can't align. It's good, but it's like that is really annoying, and I hope they fix it. Also, it seems to be sticking out the top here. Maybe that's just how it works. Maybe they just have really bumpy wings. I mean, yeah, actually, it probably is how it works. Interesting. Uh, and yeah, so usually you only get the first siege missile off because then you're too close to shoot the second one. And then this is your best plane, really. This thing's incredible, the bomber. If you lose it, you're very sad. And so in the game I played against him, I took the rocket plane out and I put this cluster in, and I immediately hated this cluster. It's a high altitude bomber, and it's got a 6-minute reload. So I put the rocket plane back in. The only thing you have to remember about the rocket plane is that it is absolutely useless against tanks. And if you use all of the rockets, which you very rarely do, usually you get about 20 rockets off and then you get stunned or you die. or you have to evac because you took one hit. But if you use them all, obviously it's got like a, you know, a 7 minute reload there, uh, more even. But these are absolutely useless against vehicles. Literally useless against vehicles. I've had a tank with less than 1 HP. It was against him again, actually. I had it dead to rights, and I just sprayed it down. It had less than 1 HP, and it survived with less than 1 HP. So it does less than 1 HP damage to a tank. But you send it out ahead of. Oh my god, I love water so much. I'm a water enjoyer. I love water. Stay hydrated. It's free. Well, sort of. I mean, obviously I have to pay my water bill, but um, if you just drink it out of lakes and stuff, it's free and you can get cholera. Delicious. Anyway, the point is this goes first ahead of this, and this spots the AA with its face or whatever, and then this blows up the AA, and then this thing is good. It's not really good. It is good. These Mavericks they miss a bit, but it's got four of them, and you know it's fast and stuff. It only tends to get one off in a pass. But yeah, I like these planes, these Corsairs. I think they're pretty decent. And that's that deck review. So I'll show you mine, and it's basically the same. So you know, I basically just rebuilt his in my image. Oh no, I do have mine at 1 vet. Oh, I'll have to go back and edit that out. So yeah, I have mine at 1 vet as well, because yeah, you don't need 12 of them, I guess. And yeah, these I could do with up vetting, or I could get rid of one of them and buy two more toe cobras or something. So I really struggle against IFVs. I'm trying to think. And yeah, while I'm here, I'll take this out and try it the other way. I'll try it with the so like light rifles AT4 aren't too bad, but they're 60, whereas this is 45. And you get one more availability than this. The main issue is just trying to kill tanks as this div. You do the smoke thing, and then you run straight up to the T-55, and it doesn't do anything. And because the SEALs only bring 4 AT4s, and they're not a cheap squad, they're not what you want to be doing it with. And so, you know, this might actually be useful. And I can bring it in a Huey. So but this is such a cost-efficient squad for 45 points with the Resolute, the Security, the Shock, the AT4s, the Smoke as well, so that'll help you against the tanks. And this thing's not bad for 20 points because of how fast it is, so that means you can get this into some pretty interesting positions. So yeah, we're going to be getting rid of this, and we're going to be putting this in. So there you go, that's your value added there, and yeah. So that's the 6th US deck review, and I hope that made sense to you. And now we've got 119Y, played by R Chinese letters. So 119Y got buffed and is pretty strong now. It is pretty strong now. So yeah, I don't play it too much, but I should. Now that it's OP, I can play it, right? So BMP 1K3, 3 availability. Your other options are 2 availability, or a helicopter at 2 availability, or a car at 2 availability. The problem with this is that it's tracked, and then your other CVs are all tanks, and so you will not be ahead at the start. But with 119Y, you won't be ahead at the start anyway. You've just got to play this as a slow grind div. But except it's got a really good forward deployment at the start just to help you seize ground. But yeah, you can't afford to play it too aggressively. And then 2 cards of supply. We'll see. I mean, you've got a lot of heavy tanks to heal up as this division, and so we'll see if you can make it with 2 cards of supply, because these are just constantly going to be in a state of healing because they just keep getting shot. And so yeah, I would be running 3 cards of supply perhaps, but we'll see. So infantry tabs, so Spetsnaz have the forward deployment, and then Spetsnaz OP get forward deployment, and the issue with not bringing those is that at the start these can get like hyper bullied. If the enemy's coming the other way with like a Fox. Well, actually, never mind, because you get Resvedka BMP2s now, which is the buff. That was the big buff. And so you can probably get away with not having the Spetsnaz OP. I know Skate runs these, and then he just sends them all over your backlines and stuff. And he keeps them with the Spetsnaz at the start, so you can't bully the Spetsnaz ever with vehicles, because it'll always have one of these with it. And then the extra 2 he sends around the sides and stuff. Then we've got a bunch of no-vet infantry, which I don't think is a good idea. So there's always this idea that, oh, I don't get enough infantry, I don't get enough infantry, and then you get 3 more cards in the recon tab. So actually, you get 8 cards of infantry, which is more than you need. So I'd be upvetting these. Maybe not this one because you want as many BMP ones as possible, but certainly these. Also, yeah, that's how I'd be running it. I'd probably be bringing the Spetsnaz OP for one of these Saperi RPOs, because how many RPOs do you need? You've got RPOs here, you got RPOs here. Do you really need more? So that's how I'd be running it. But like I said, I don't play this division that much. And the fact of the matter is, you just play slow, right? You don't just chuck your infantry out to see if there's something there. You play slow. You keep that in mind. But yeah, I'd certainly be one vet in my infantry so it can actually do something. Except for this, because you want as many of these as possible. RT tab, so Mr. Bean. Do you need 4 of them? Are you buying 4 of them? I mean, if you're careful with it, you can up-vet these. And then I believe if they're at 1 vet, they can constantly have a patch of smoke on the ground constantly because of how fast they aim and reload and stuff. And you got to move them after every salvo. Like if you're buying 4 of these in a 1v1, you're probably already lost. And this is only a 1-point slot, and there's probably nowhere else to put it. Yeah. So yeah, I would think that you should probably upvet these. Then the tank tab. So basically, wow, okay. He's not brought these. These are really good. So at the start, you can't afford these super heavies, right? Basically, the way this div works is at the start you deploy the Spetsnaz and the Spetsnaz OP to take forward positions, and you open with one of your broken fighters to take some forward positions, and then you just sit there, and then you buy a bunch of these. You buy a bunch of these, right? Um, and then you eventually build up till you've got all your AA, you buy all your AA, okay, and then you eventually get to a state where you can start bringing these tanks, right? And then you just slowly push the tanks forwards. Oh, I got hit, retreat, repair. But at the start, you need these to hold the line. Like, you need them. I don't think this is very useful for this division. I'd much rather be bringing 6 of these at 1 vet, because they are very useful at the start, and they give like these guys. You can actually do some early aggression if you bring these, and they really help stabilize your line. And they got buffed this patch, so you get more availability, along with the addition of like this is on the current patch because obviously he's got the Resvedka BMP2. This is really good as well. There's no point in vetting it, and yeah, you send these around the side and stuff. You're just trying to buy time so you can build up your tank blob. Here we've got so BRM1Ks. These stay with your tanks. So your tanks have exceptional optics. You just click it, Shift F, click on your tank, follows it around, gives you exceptional optics, and then yeah. So none of these are useful. When I played against Skate, he sent these around the backline to like snipe on my AA and stuff. I should probably go back and cast that game, but it was on the previous patch, and the divisions changed a lot, so I don't know if it's really worth it. But I don't know if enough people tell me to, then I'll go back and do it. It was a really good game, actually. Maybe I should. I was playing KDA, so it was proper interesting. Anyway, yeah, you can send these around the sides. The thing is, if you've got this does the same thing. Right, it's also amphibious, it's also got good speed, and so you just do the same with this. Then Razvedka BMP2, and he's got it at no vet, so we can get as many BMP2s out as possible. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then Spetsnaz Gru, which is another part of the forward deployment, and these have a rocket launcher, which can make you think, well, maybe I don't need this anymore, so maybe you don't need that anymore. And then Razvedka Saperi for even more sappers, right? And I'll be bringing these at 1 vet. Because like you don't need to spam Razvedka BMP2 here, you just need an infantry squad that can fight, and then he's got 2 recon helos, which are they're proper decent actually, but you only get 1 per card, and it's very scary if you look at it from the front. It's terrifying. It's like 5 Nights at Freddy's. Anyway, then last time I played against Skate, he had 2 cards of Tunguska, This guy's just got Strellas and Iglas, and I think that's like, I mean, if you so let's say you get rid of this, there you go, that's 3 AP. Now you can down vet this. Now you've got 4 AP, although I think 3 AP is probably enough anyway. And then you can bring Tunguskas, and then you can bring a helicopter here. Or you can come back and fill this in, or you can, yeah, like you can come back and fill this in, just have 1 AP, whatever. Or you can fill this in, right, get some more tanks, get some more of these, get another one of these, whatever. Like, all that loss for a recon helo, it's a pretty big sacrifice to make, right? So, and you can still get a helo. What did I even do? Whatever, I got the Tunguska right. I think you need this to protect your tanks. And then, yeah, you can still get 2 helicopters here if you really want them. Or you can, you can come back and sort this out and just have 1 AP spare. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Or you can still have 4 of these, right? Or you can get that helicopter back. Except now it's not recon, it's just somewhere else. Heli tab, so yeah, the helicopters, wow. Yeah, they're just your standard packed helicopters. What's to say? The Escortini isn't very good. I really don't like it. These things don't do anything, and it just dies. This thing, like, it's got 2 availability, which can be useful, and it's got the same HP as these actually. It's just got less armor. And then air tab. So yeah, you bring 6 fighters. It's all very sensible. This is a broken OP fighter. There you go, 10 missiles. It's just better than the Eagle in every way, and it's cheaper. It's got less ECM and speed, but it turns better. Better missiles, more missiles. It is really good, and it's cheaper. Yeah, the crucially, because the Eagle's 270, which means you can't buy 1 in a minute. Unless you're saving and stuff. Whereas these, you can always buy 1 a minute. This is the best fighter in the game. Just on a price to performance ratio, so it's also got the OP missiles, it's just got fewer of them, and it's got 10% less ECM. But yeah, it's all about these opening missiles, and then these things are pretty absurd. And then he's brought 2 LGBTs, so okay, I mean, the alternative is an LGBT and a seed, or this and the seed. Like, you're paying a lot of points here. It does only drop 1 at once, and because it's a CAB 1500, it will destroy anything you pointed at. Heavy tanks, whatever. It's going to be a one-way trip if the enemy has ground AA. Unless, to be honest, it does have 30% ECM now. Used to be 20 on these, but PAC doesn't allow to have bad equipment. They had a better air force than NATO, don't you know? Didn't you know that? But yeah, sending this out with it can be very useful. Just to keep it alive, but then you've only got 1 bomber, so another thing you can do is do this, and then you've got 2 bombers, and you've got the seed, or you could just do this and take your chances. Only use it when you send a fighter out first and make that soak up the HE or whatever, but yeah, we'll see if you can keep these alive. Anyways, let's get back to the game. Right, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the matchup. Basically, 6th is not as bad as people seem to think it is. I do think it is like a low A tier division, or very high B tier division. It does struggle against any div with IFVs, which is basically every meta div. Yeah, it is rough. You basically have to do a lot of like air gambling with this div. You can lose a lot of time, so it's not really your fault. 119Y is OP now, in my opinion, or at least it's good. Might not be OP, but it's definitely good. And the reason it's good now is that they added Razvedka BMP2s to it, which we see here in vast quantities, and they increased the availability of the flamethrower tank, the TO-55, which he didn't actually bring, as you'll know from the deck review. This map, Chemical, does give 6th some good opportunities in that there's lots of close-range fighting here, which means that you can get your recoilless rifles fighting, you can get your Dragon 2 shooting, and you can try and do some damage, particularly with smoke. As you'll know from the deck review, Jojo brought the bigger mortars, so you'll get fewer opportunities to smoke, particularly against Leopard 2's 4 howitzers, which he brought, which you'll know from the deck review, which you didn't skip. I know you didn't skip it because I checked the channel statistics and literally nobody skips the deck review. It definitely doesn't completely crater every single video I put it in. Yeah, this map though, blue is on the bad side, and it's the bad side because of this. Like, why is this zone so absolutely massive? It's very difficult for blue to hold this, particularly because red tends to get these buildings, which means that they have, flanking potential on blue in that you can just park somebody here and you can see all this. And they get this, they get these, and to be honest, that if they've got forward deployment, they should be getting these as well. So yeah, it's very difficult for blue to hold this, and that's why I think the map is red in favor of red. Also, well, no, that's really just it. I mean, feel like these are basically the same. I would say that if you lose this on red side, it's kind of hard to get back in here. Whereas, well, no, to be honest, I'd say they're about the same. It's probably slightly... No, because this is kind of hard to... Yeah, I'd say they're about the same. Stop embarrassing myself. So, let's have a look at the deployments, but first... I'm a water enjoyer. Big water enjoyer. Absolutely love water, me. Anyway, Spetsnaz Gru going to here, which is completely bonkers. It is a forward deployed unit. You'd want it up to here at the very least, or to here. This is a good spot. Once again, it lets you see these buildings, helps you take these buildings, or up to here. Don't get me wrong, this is a high place, which does help you see, but the front line is going to be over here, and so you really want your first unit out to be going there. Then he's got Resvedka BMP2 going here, so really he's playing extremely defensively, actually, which against a powerful forward deployment in 6th, it sort of makes sense, but he's got airborne forward deployment too, he's got regular Spetsnaz, which he's not deployed here. Then Spetsnaz Gru going here, and he's definitely expecting an attack on Delta because he's bought 3 Resvedka BMP2s. One's going here, which is nonsensical. One's going here, which makes a bit more sense, and one's just going out here. So, I mean, if you want to stop people coming down this road, then you want them here, really. And then you can try and push it up to here. But, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. He's also not unloading any of them. And, yeah, then we've got Conkers... So like even more stuff coming over here. And then T-80BV Command going to Bravo Delta. So really, most of his forces are going here to Delta. Oh no, I need to learn about PKTs today, apparently. Okay. Okay, I'm going to have to restart my game. No, last time I just went... No, it didn't work. Right, so I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know, they just don't want to fix their own game, apparently. So we spoke about these. Lots of guys going to Delta, and then we've got this thing, which I don't really think should be in the deck. And you're going very defensively with that. Like, I mean, you could at least put it up to here and cover that, right? But, yeah, there's pretty interesting. And then he's sending the MTLB forwards, so I'm not sure why he's playing so defensively there. I suppose it doesn't make too much of a difference. And behind that, he's got an Igla going to here. Typically, you would want this here, really. And Pomachiki, which is going to here. Alright. I mean, rather than buying these two, he could have just bought one Spetsnaz Gru, which is 95, as opposed to paying, this is 95 already, and then this is another 65 on top of that, which is a high number. Quick maths. It's 160, isn't it? And yeah, he could have just bought one of these and just put it, because it's forward deployment, he could have got it all the way up to here, and then he's got this covered. He's got all that crossroads covered. The enemy gets to about here, right? So you just sit there. So that was a big waste. So yeah, a bit weird deployment from Red here. Switching to his opponent's deployment, we've got Jojo playing 6th US. And so he's got Pathfinder's going to here. Yeah, I mean, covering this is something you do have to do eventually, but what you can do is put the Pathfinders here and then put the 50 cal here, because this has good optics in of itself. Then he's got Couple units going over here, so 2 Ito Jeeps. I usually put an LRS over here. It's probably quite a big investment, actually, but that's what I do. And a very slow CV going Charlie Alpha. And then we've also got on the right, okay, so... Whoa, okay. So Pathfinder's here, going the wrong way. He's put them here, and now they're going up that way. Just something to keep in mind. And he's trying to deploy them there, but he's lost valuable time because this could have started here. It would have got there faster. Then he is actually attacking over here, but he's taking a very, very wide route. So basically, if you use the auto pathing to come up to here, it will move here. It'll cross here as opposed to crossing down here, which means the enemy will see you if he's here, right? Well, usually. Yeah, so you got to manually path it down here like he's done. He's not brought a mortar for smoke, but he has brought 2 airborne stingers and 3 Navy SEALs, so we'll see if he gets in. I mean, there is a lot here, but it's being deployed really badly, so we'll see. Spetsnaz Gru here wouldn't actually see that. And then behind that, we've got... Okay, quite a lot of stuff. So, a supply for over on the right, a supply for over on the left, which is presumably going where the Ihawk's going. A military police with Stinger going over here, a big boy security squad going to here. That's can't really help you if vehicles are coming down here, so don't agree with that. And then 2 light rifles, 3 light rifles. One's going here, one's going here, and one's going here. So that's your anti-vehicle, I suppose. Ihawk going to here, but not set to unload. CV deploying here. And then 2 more Itos. One's going to look down here. Sorry for using here a lot, but obviously you're watching, right? Unless you're like in the car or something, in which case you should probably focus on your driving, bro. And one's going to look down here, which may or may not be able to shoot down this road. I'm not entirely sure. So, attack on Delta and then defend everywhere else. So let's cast the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time to thank the generous channel joiners. Generously joiner in the channel. They get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. 1 join at the lowest level for 1 month is worth 2,000 views in terms of ad revenue. So it's the best way to support the channel, really. I am currently an unemployed full-time PhD student, in that my funding ran out because I took too long. That's not a road, is it? Oh dear. So it's obviously entirely my fault, but you should feel bad anyway. You should feel bad for me. Yeah, wouldn't it be cool if I could do this full time? I could do such a better job of it. I could do like guides for every map or something, live stream every day at the same time. You know, just do more, higher production quality. That would be like a sort of a dream come true for me. But so yeah, that's sort of the eventual aim. So sadly, you know, we these aren't very fast off road. So yeah, you know, all the engagement helps. Like if you're like, well, I'm broke too. Well, yeah, there's a lot of that going around, isn't there? So I sympathise. Please just like the videos. That is free. And comment on the videos. Just write in GG. It makes YouTube recommend it to more people if there's higher engagement, right? So subscribing, liking, commenting. There's a reason all YouTubers go on about it. It's because it matters. So yeah, that's a way you can help out. Yeah, so you know, R here, Leopard 2 Weasel Wholesale, is he's given up a lot of ground. Like this, as you saw from these deployments, he could have got into here. To be honest, he could have got into here with that Spetsnaz Gru. And yeah, that would have been nice. But he's not gone for that. And so Blue's actually he's actually in a really good position. Okay. So he's bringing up the 50 cal to try and 1v1 the Bradley, sorry, the BMP2. That's going to go about as well as you might expect. And yeah, these Pathfinders, they can just leave, right? So looks like the team has arrived, and this is hilarious. So Leopard 2 Weasel Wholesale, I'm just going to call him R from now on. He's like, oh, there's nobody here. So, okay, I guess I'll leave. But it's just because they've not shown up yet. Whereas if he deployed properly, this would be here by now, and he would have sorted that out. Like this basically, once there's nobody here, you just push it up to here, and then you would have been seeing this. So Stingers are getting in here, and the Navy SEALs are right behind. There's no CV though. Here it is. And you see that the automatic pathing makes it come down here, as I just spoke about. So he's just clicked over here, basically. And it's like, yeah, bro, I want to change here. And so this Conkers is going to shoot at him. So we'll see if he sees. We'll see who sees who. And yeah, so Red now pumping out the heavy tanks. This is too early for the heavy tanks. He should have bought a bunch of BMP-1s here. Because like he's given up so much ground. All of this should have been filled. Like he should have had a recon unit here. It should have been this one, really. This one could get all the way up to here, right? Or, you know, here's good. And if you're blue in this situation, you want to be trying to push this. He just probably assumes there's somebody here. Right, so I'm using here a lot. I do apologise. So the Conkers has seen him, so he knows there's a CV there now, and now he knows this is happening. Because why else would... Do you know what I mean? So obviously it survives, but he's been spotted now. And looks like Jojo pinged that one. But R has seen it, because here comes the repairer. All of these, he needs to sell them now. He needs to, like... Basically, if you just let it auto-sell, they drive down here and the Spetsnaz crew captures them all, if it doesn't kill them. And then that's, you know, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 points, which, because it's going from one guy to the other, is a 200-point swing, which is almost a minute's income. So he's manually passed them out, but then you just do Shift, F, click, F, click, L, click. Or just, you know, L, with Shift held. So Shift... F, click, L, with all with shift held, and then that'll sort that out. So here we go. So he knows now, oh, wow, they're a bit closer in than I thought they were. And so now R needs to, like, counterattack here, basically, but he is a slow div. And he's buying too many of these heavy assets, really. It's too early in the game for this, but Jojo's micro's suffering a bit here. This should have been just pulled back immediately. But he's eating a lot of rounds there. He did buy a smoke mortar, and yeah, this is another doozy. When you want to supply people up to here, it comes down this road, which means that Red can put something here, or just something here, and just shoot them as they come in, so that is a doozy. But Jojo's on a +2, because he's had a bizarre adventure over to Delta while I'm down with the kids. But look at all the money he's leaving on the table here. He could have an extra 100 points. That's another one of these and a Cook V supply, right? It's another one of these. So Su-27 just sort of flies over a bunch of stingers and hits the Eagle on its hits both of these on its way out, kills one on its way out after being evac'd by 2 stingers. So this is sort of what I was talking about with how broken those are. So he microed that terribly. He got hit by stingers, and then he still managed to kill the enemy plane and hit the enemy Eagle. So yeah, basically packed Air Force is just easy mode. This has landed, which is interesting. Spetsnaz Gru are using their DMR here, and he probably can't see him. Oh no, I think he's shooting. So yeah, he tries to get that forwards, and then this takes off. But yeah, at close range, the Navy SEALs will win, now that they can see. Stinger getting hit there, he really needs to make sure he doesn't lose that. T-8EUD is basically unkillable, but yeah, look at all these points. Look at all these points, 120 points there, just hanging about. You got to pay attention to these things. But yeah, it's just very, very difficult to hold this as blue, I think. And red, I mean, I think instead of sorting this out, he probably should have... Well, actually, I don't know, because he needs to make sure this stays open, but he will never win this fight. So what he needs to do is cut off the reinforcements, which, yeah, he's done a good job of, actually. So yeah, get the Razvedka to here, get the Conkers over to here so he doesn't use this way. Or, you know, put the Razvedka here and leave the Conkers here. And yeah, the fact of the matter is that he can just surround this and make sure nobody gets in, and then he can start buying all those sappers that we know he's got in his deck from the deck review, which he definitely didn't skip. This man survived, which is huge actually, because he's going to do the vanishing act now and just keep shooting these guys, and they won't be able to see him because there are only recons here. And okay, so Su-27 comes back, flies over a Stinger, gets evac'd, does almost evac this on its way out. Mr. Bean here, aiming for the Navy SEALs. And here we go. So all of these are now dying. And it's a big oof, really. Because he could have had 120 points. But instead he chose death. So it is a big oof here. Meanwhile, Red, he's made his decision now. He's like, okay, I'm not going to attack here. I'm going to come over here and sort this out. Which, okay. He's got 8 minutes to fix it. iHawk shoots, evacs that in 1. It's to do with flux. I really need to do a guide on this. It's very scientific. But here you go. So this motorized Resved is about to kill 160 points worth of units. And down it goes. Eagle. Oh, because this is on the ground. Yeah, so this is an issue, right? Whereas if Blue had used this reinforcement road, this would have killed him instead. But then the Eagle would have shot that, so, you know, swings and roundabouts. So these Pulmachiki are getting rinsed by the recoilless rifles. So Red's sort of making some mistakes here in that he's like, okay, I'm coming over here, I need to sort this out. That's fine. It sort of makes sense. It actually does make a lot of sense, because this is a +2 and this is a +1. But don't also attack here at the same time. Like, you saw he pushed those Pulmachiki up and he lost one, and he can't really afford to be making those mistakes. So here we go. Eagle is dead now, probably, because the Su-27 outranges all NATO planes in this game. It was actually infamous for never being deployed outside the Soviet Union, but there you go. PAX isn't allowed to have bad equipment. The Stingers are dying. Do you see what I mean? This one man is killing them, and he can't see it. He cannot see it. So, I mean, he needs to run back. He's going to lose them, and then he won't be able to defend himself from the helicopters anymore. And this is what I meant. That the fact that survived was actually a pretty big deal, because he's going to lose this Stinger squad now because this man survived with 1 HP. And yeah, he's doing some strafe in there. And, you know, he wouldn't have been able to do that if this guy had been dead. So now he's just running back again. This is also why you'd want a mortar for smoke. But yeah, basically this is an untenable position for Blue, because he can't fight Red in the open. He just can't. The Humvee tows would have given him some options. Well, just being able to stop this from rolling around it. But yeah, I don't know. You still got 5 of these left, apparently. And with that, one of those Stingers going down, now this LGBT can just come bully him. So, Eagle against SU. And as you can see, the SU will get missiles off in the turn, and it kills the Eagle. Oh, the Eagle actually got the SU, though. So they traded. I mean, this costs 20 points more, but it will lose most of the time. I'm surprised the Eagle managed to fire back. Or it might have been the iHawk. It might have been the iHawk that got that. So, iHawk helping there, and now we get to see it again. Okay, the iHawk killed it that time, and this man is now coming for the LGBT, which really should have been evac'd as soon as that SU lost that fight. But yeah, you see it turns really badly. He's trying to come over here, but... okay, this is really bad micro from this player. Although, he might get out, simply because... he's good at the game. Yeah, just surviving all that. He was really good at the game, apparently. This could have come out sooner, I suppose, especially given that the tick just happened now, which means he wasn't waiting for income there. So he could have sent that out sooner. Maybe it was repairing or something, but yeah, so Jojo is having a pretty unpleasant adventure here. He really needs to pull these back. I mean, he can't afford to be taking this damage, basically. He's still got these. Are they just on defensive? Yeah, so that's why they're just running away like that. And so he loses a Navy SEALs there, and he can't afford to be making these mistakes. You see, he's just left it on ammunition, because he knows he can't afford to heal them up. So he needs to retreat, really. He needs to retreat into the town. He shouldn't be in a position where these can shoot him. I don't understand why he's doing this. I guess because he wants to shoot AT-4s at his opponent, which is a T-80UD. I mean, okay. I don't think it was worth it, really. What is he doing? Well, he's going to lose that unit for that, because he hasn't sent it back. So, yeah, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. You just want to hunker down in this forest, basically, in these trees in this forest, and just sit there and make it so he has to send the infantry in. So he has to buy these Spetsnaz, which I guess he's done anyway. And just try and drag it out for as long as possible, because this is an untenable position. Another thing he could do is you know, buy another Humvee tow 2, try and get it to here, another AA piece here. So Corsair's probably dead now. Although, you know, these SUs, they keep flying over the iHawk. Oh wow, this survived. Surprised the SU missed at that range, even though it had been evac'd and low cohesion, etc. The missiles are the best in the game, so they're very good. So that frees up these. So he's got 17 seconds to kill as many of these as he can. This one has landed. I don't think he can see it because of where it's landed. Because there's a dip here. Yeah, he's shooting it. Oh, no, maybe he does see it. Or he just knows where it's landed. I mean, this would suggest he can't see it, but... Yeah, he must just know where it's landed. The thing is, right, that it should really be... There we go. So blue should be aware of this, and he really should be... Now, no, okay, well, he turns away there, and the MiG-29, which is 50 points cheaper than the Eagle, wins that fight. But the Eagle wasn't really shooting back there, and this Eagle takes that one out. Now he's got 37 seconds. Ah, damn. So this gets hit by the Strela, and now it will evac back over the Strela. He does have 40% ECM, but the Strela gets 3 shots off. And, okay, so he got hit twice there out of, like, 4 shots, so it's pretty unlucky. But in the meantime, he's lost his other... Right, he needs to stop coming out here and trying to shoot these vehicles. It's just not going to work. You've not got an Appalachian, mate. It's an AT-4, so... Right, this man should be hiding in the... I mean, he could have killed that. It would have been cool, I guess, but it wasn't worth losing this for. He should just be hiding in, like, basically these buildings. Just try and drag him into a town fight. But he basically lost all 3 of those seals to outside intervention. He's still not sold these. Over here, nothing's really happening. Red is trying to push, but he doesn't have enough units to do so. He's not using this, which he really should be. Like, all these buildings should be getting hit. And obviously red needs to sort this out first. So this man can now hide behind this, or use his smoke grenades. Or just sit there and die. So there you go, he's trying to smoke now. But he messes it up, and now he's still dying. I mean, it certainly looks like he's in the smoke there, but you gotta throw it in front of you. So yeah, he's just gonna die there. So we were talking about how we'd sacrificed 1 availability on these to bring some smoke. And you see that smoke in action there. Pretty unfortunate, really, because it looks like it's right in it. It must be, yeah, so he was in this house, I guess, this shed, and the smoke was here, I don't know. Anyway, so he could have clung on for, like, another 3 minutes there. If he'd not kept sallying out to get shot, and literally just sat in these buildings with his Navy SEALs. Because the 2 Spetsnaz might not have been able to kill him. Having said that, you know, R could have used his artillery a bit more and stuff. I really do think that blue should buy another Eyehawk and put it, like, here. Because this is just getting silly now. They just keep coming down here. So, he manages to get that one. It's smart of Jojo to always be fighting over it, almost always be fighting over his AA. But yeah, he needs to... another thing is that you put... I suppose he's got this here. But you want to secure this, mainly so that the enemy doesn't send stuff down here, but also because then you can start putting ATGMs here, and that will really help you. If your enemy comes over here, you can shoot him. For example, if he gets over here, you can shoot him. You can put recon here as well. Obviously, you'd have to fight for it, because the T-80UD would probably roll up and start shooting you. But yeah, you see Jojo has to manually path all his stuff down here. Red has no such problem, because Red's things come down here, whereas Blue's things come down here. So this is a big problem. Okay, so he's trying to sell these now. And he lost 1 of them, at least. There were 6 originally, now there are 3. I suppose he's wasting enemy ammo, but at least he's selling it now, so that there you go, that's 60 points. But imagine how much better off he would have been if he'd sold those before and had the 100 points it was, I think. It might have been 120 when this CV got here, so... You know, just something to pay attention to. Obviously, it's very difficult to do, especially with this division. You do get a lot of units. It is difficult. And yeah, I'd say that you could move down here, but there's always the risk of helicopters and planes, so you got to move down there with AA, at which point it becomes sort of less worth it. So he's got the double howitzers here, and these should be queued up to move as soon as the salvo finishes. He did miss that, unfortunately. Oh, there you go, he got 1 hit. And... okay. And you see that the grenade launchers are pretty good against the infantry. And he's really got to move these now. But he's not. He's just queued up another shooty order. So he's gonna get Mr. Beaned. This is pretty powerful. It's just it's very far away. You see the dispersion circle there. So he might get it. I mean, it just depends. It's all RNG now, basically. If it lands right on it, it's dead. But there you go. It landed right next to it, so it didn't do anything. It's literally got to land right on it. You see the power of the 152 meter howitzer there. It just lands right in front of you, and it's no problem. So he manages to get that on the vehicle. It's only 4 salvo length, so it survives. That was the last shot. But yeah, if it had been dead on, it would have got it. So the interesting thing is, this R guy doesn't actually have any radar AA. It's all Strellas and Iglas and planes, which I find really strange. He should have really got some Tunguskas, but you know, for his part, Jojo's hasn't really been doing anything in this game apart from shooting down enemy fighters and shooting helicopters, which is good, right? He's probably Red probably doesn't have that many fighters left. He's probably only got 2 or 3 left out of the original 6, which you'll know from the deck review, which he didn't skip. And yeah, so this is more just to soak, really, and to reduce enemy AA accuracy, although it claims it doesn't work against radar, against non-radar AA. So yeah, you see the issue Red is having here, in that he can't get any closer because he's just got all these recoilless rifles on him. Okay, so here comes the LGBT, but the Eagle was up. Eagle obviously misses all its missiles and then gets shot and killed by 2 Iglas and a Strela 10M. So there's your 40% ECM there. Now he's trying to... well, he should really be going for the Igla. I guess he just sees the tank. This had a crit, so it gets evac'd in 1. Yeah, what can I say? And really, like, he should be trying to shoot these AA pieces with his bombers and stuff. His cluster 1. You should be focusing the AA, really. But yeah, that was pretty unlucky, that Eagle just getting, like, basically, it must have been 3 shots, 1 kill. Anyway, Blue's starting to get pushed out here. He does have a lot of supply and stuff, it's just he's not, like, this should be pulled back, really. This should be pulled back. You don't want him shooting you. He has sorted this out, so he's going for the Igla, which is good. The AT missile gets the T-80UD, so that was a huge kill, actually. Sadly, it does die, and it's only 2 per card, but that was a huge kill, actually. That was pretty big. It's pretty big. Pretty big. And now he's trying to sneak this over, but Red, quite intelligently, has just left a couple of units here. So can't see this working. Oh, he might be going for Bravo, actually. I mean, Red should see this, it just depends if he's paying attention. Decides to build some more howitzers instead. He's got 20 minutes to sort this out. Like, he needs to... Like, he shouldn't have attacked properly there. What he should have done is just get the T-80UDs up and just, like, you know, kill these units. So I can understand him buying the RT. I think it makes sense. First BMP-1 we've seen in this game. He's got 9 of them, so... It's quite surprising. Losing that T-80UD was pretty huge, actually. Did you see how Jojo came in from the side there? The T-80UD can survive 2 30 AP missiles from the front. But on the side, I believe it's only got 7 armor. It might be 8, but even so, 30 AP missile will kill you unless it's 17. So yeah, down he goes. And Jojo, he needs to get this supply up here, really, because this can't fight if it doesn't have recoilless rifles. And it looks like Red's going to get in. He needs more close-range AT. He's got a lot of scout tanks back here. They're good if you blob them, so I didn't actually realise they still had rounds. So now you gotta get back here. It's a very playing Blue's div is way harder than playing Red's div, because Red's div you just don't have that many units. So all you gotta do is just micro very few units, whereas Blue has to micro lots of units. And he doesn't get self-propelled mortars, he doesn't get self-propelled artillery, he doesn't get self-propelled AA, and so it's all got to constantly be moving or it gets artillery. It's very, very tough div to play. I enjoy playing it a lot. I think it's strong if you can play well, but certainly not an easy div to play. So here we go. So R is starting to use the sides now, as we spoke about right at the start, that he can get around here and he can really make some problems for Blue. Loses a unit in the transport there. Ooh, that shoots him behind this. Because the shell must have landed while he was here, and then it fired while it was here, and then basically, once the shell's fired, it seems to have some sort of homing ability. So yeah, this man can't really hang about. These are still not moving. Actually, no, they might be. They might have been back here before. So, Prowler's out, but the synchronization with the cluster plane isn't really there. Like, they should be coming at the same time, and it should be going on the AA. Shouldn't be going on these tanks. I mean, don't get me wrong, if it gets these two, it's huge. But, you know, if Red's paying attention, he should just move. He's got 9 seconds to move. And there you go, so they survive. And whereas this, because it's in a forest, it's actually much harder to move it, especially because you'd have to go forwards if you wanted to have a chance. You'd have to turn, whereas these are in the open and they're not slow, right? So you should have gone for the AA, because then your next bombing run's going to do better. And there's only a bit of AA here. There's only 2 pieces here. The Igloos are 3 if you include that Igloo. The other one must have died. And yeah, the toes on these trees are pretty useful actually. He's getting a lot of value out of these. So AT plane comes out, gets the T-80 BVK, and then this should be going on the AA. Oh, this is where it happened. So he needs to land this, but I mean it is very dead. It is very dead. So this should be going on that. He just keeps going for the frontline units. Don't get me wrong, he's killing tanks, and that's really useful. But and to be honest, he is getting out. But if Red had the sense to buy more AA, then you know, these planes would be dying. This one might die now. This guy's out of rounds. Yeah, okay. Whereas, yeah, if he kills these, the enemy has to immediately buy more AA. But, you know, he did get a lot of tanks there. He did get both T-80UDs, so maybe it is worth it. But I think a much better strategy is to shoot the AA and just play it a little bit slower. Getting the CV tank makes a lot of sense, though, because obviously if he's going to be in your zone, that's not great. There's a bunch of guys here which could be deployed into the Maya. Although they wouldn't stand up very well to these repairers and stuff, so this should really be shooting the AA. There we go, he did try there, but did try shooting the AA. Oh, he might die. Okay, so that misses. It's got 20% ECM, but this is only 55% accuracy. Yeah, trying to focus down the repairers is intelligent, and now he needs to move these again. Yeah, I'd be loading them up and moving them. Although Red's command of artillery seems to be somewhat lacking. Like, he's bought all this stuff, he's just not using it. Oh, he's going for the supply. Okay. So, Red is slowly making his way in here, but with 14 minutes left, he's got a lot of catching up to do, and yeah, I'm really liking these. Obviously, they need resupplying, but yeah, if you're blue, you know, he could have, like, tried to move this down here and just seen if it was empty, got all the way up to here, or even up to here, and then you can always just run back through the forest. Obviously, he's a bit busy at the moment, but he does need to buy some more infantry, to tell you the truth. He has, okay. He's going on a really weird route. We spoke about these, and how, like, yeah, so this is why he's blobbed them like this, because they're just not very effective. They are kind of cheap, though, I guess. So as you can see, they not fantastic. But there's no heavy tank here. If there was one T-80UD here, it would just be bam, dead, bam, dead, bam, dead. Well, it'd probably two-shot them at that range. Yeah. 21 AP will one-shot 8 armor, I think. Or was it 7? 20, yeah, it's 7. So another side shot. Another side shot. There's a pretty narrow angle on that side shot, really. But you see how he's coming in from the sides to side shot. And now, he should bomb the AA. But hey, yeah, if you kill a CV, that is also good. It's just mainly blue is capitalizing on red's deck draft problem, where he just didn't. He only had 2 cards of AA, so it looks like he surrenders there. So yeah, GG. It was a really good game, actually. Jojo ranked 90. Plays everything, apparently. and R rank 98, which was probably higher. So they're very similarly matched players. It's 737. There's less games actually. Jojo is very good for men with 500 games. You much watch Hippie YouTube videos, but yeah, I would advise you to focus the AA and remove that cluster plane and put the rocket one in instead, because people can just move and it's got a stupidly long reload. But the idea behind the rocket plane is you just use it against infantry and you put it in front of your. You can also use it against Toad AA and it'll kill it, Iglas and stuff, and Ihawks it'll kill it, Toad artillery as well. But the cluster reload time's too long there. But basically, Red he played too hastily with his div, and he didn't bring enough AA. He relied on his fighters, and Blue actually did a pretty decent job of killing his fighters. Didn't help that Red just kept diving them as if he had infinite. Uh, and he lost all his fighters there, and then Blue just air bullied him. So yeah, he needed the Tunguskas in his deck, really. So I hope you learned something. I thought it was a pretty good game. And GG.